This is video number 2 in the SketchUp class at the Alabama Woodworkers Guild, where we're drawing this small box. And in the first video, which I'll include a link below that you can click to, we created the end and the side. Today, what I want to do is complete the perimeter of the box and begin working on the top and the bottom. All right, here's where we left off. We have the side completed and the end. And the next step we want to do is complete the perimeter of the box. And we'll do this by simply copying what we already have. Since the sides are identical and the ends are identical, all we need to do is make copies and put them in place. And there's a number of ways that we can do this. What I would normally do, and we talked about this in the first video, is a concept called moving a copy. So M activates the move tool. We can click this corner and pull it away, hit the control key, and a copy is created. Spacebar ends the move operation. I can right click this and this command flip along. I use this a lot. So we want to flip this along the red axis and watch what happens. So it rotates or flips it around. What I want to do is click this corner, this inside corner, and move it in place. Let's do the same thing for this side. M for the move tool. I'm going to click this point, pull it back, and before I do anything, I'm going to hit the control key, and it makes a copy. We want to this time right click, and we want to flip this along the green axis, because the green runs this way and red of course runs this way. We want to flip it in this direction. M for the move tool. I'm going to grab this corner, click on it, and literally move it into place. There's some other ways you can do this. And remember, using the undo command, SketchUp remembers all the commands that you've made. You can literally click both of these. And what I did is I clicked this first one, holding down the shift key. You can see that small plus appears next to the cursor. This allows me to select multiple components or multiple objects. I can click this and I have them both highlighted. I could literally move a copy, and then while all this is still selected, I could flip this along the red direction and again flip it along the green direction. We have it now oriented correctly. M for the move tool, and I want to simply take that and put it in place. Let's look at a third way in which we can move copies of these two components into the correct position and complete the perimeter of this box. It's going to involve using the rotate tool, and I will introduce a concept known as rotating a copy. We've already moved copies, but you can actually use the control key and rotate a copy of these two components. So the first thing I'm going to do with the select tool active, I'm going to click this side component, and then holding down the control key, I'm going to click the end component. So both of these are selected. And then we're going to activate the rotate tool, which is keyboard shortcut Q. And the rotate tool is going to want to try to guess at which axis that you're going to want to use. This is the green axis, the blue axis. Sometimes when you rotate around this way, it'll automatically think you're going to use the red axis. We want to use the blue axis, and you can actually lock the axis for the rotate tool by using your arrow keys on your keypad. So for instance, I'm going to tap the up arrow and that is actually the blue. It locks it to the blue direction. The left locks it to the green direction, and the right arrow key locks it to the red direction. But again, we want to use the blue. So let's hit the up arrow, and now no matter what we do, it's going to be locked to the uh, blue axis. All right, so with the rotate tool active, I'm going to click this corner once. Then what we want to do is let it snap to this edge, click it, and we're going to start rotating these two components. Before I do anything else, I'm going to hit the control key. And as you can see here, we're making a copy of this. And I can continue to come around to let it snap to 180 degrees, click, spacebar, click out here, and we've got two copies that are rotated around this corner. I'm going to select these again. Again, using the select tool, I'm going to select this component, hold the control key down, and select this component. And then what I'm going to do next is find a corner and simply move this into place. And I did that by activating the move tool, clicking this corner, and moving it here, and it will snap into place. All right, so we've moved copies in two different ways, and we've rotated a copy as well. That gives you pretty much, I think, what you need to move and rotate copies and create this perimeter. All right, so the next thing we need to do is I need to move this box up because the sides and the ends actually sit a 1/4 inch above the surface here. So the easiest way to do this is Control A is the keyboard shortcut in Windows. I think it's Command A, but whatever it does, the command to select everything, Control A in Windows will select everything. I'm going to tap M for the move tool, find this corner, and I'm going to click here and start it in the blue direction. I'm going to type 0.25. You can see in the bottom right corner, I've typed a distance of 0.25, and I'm going to press enter. Spacebar, and then click out here will deselect everything. So we've got this box now sitting a 1/4 inch above the surface. So now let's start working on the top. All right, from the plans, we know that the top or the lid is inset 3/16 of an inch from the outer edge of the box. So 3/16 is half of 3/8, and the easiest way to start making the lid and the bottom, which are the same thing, is we're going to type R for the rectangle tool. We're going to let it snap to this midpoint. So every line has a midpoint. We're going to let it snap here, and we'll know that we're automatically 3/16 of an inch in from the outer perimeter of the box, and we're going to let it snap again, and I'm going to click it, spacebar, and we've got the beginnings of our lid. The lid is a 1/4 inch thick. We've got a rabbet to make, so the first thing we want to do is move this up by using the push-pull tool. P for push-pull, click this surface and start moving it up. We're going to type 0.25 and press enter. So we've now got the first part of our rabbet that we need for the lid. The next thing we want to do is use the offset tool. So this is a cool tool to use. The offset tool will actually lock to a face. You can see here I've locked to this face on the edge. This is the face for the top of this surface, and you'll see it moves along the edge of this face. I'm going to click once, And you can see in the distance box, the measurements box in the bottom right corner, by moving this in and out, I'm moving a new rectangle within the perimeter of the first rectangle. We need this to be 3/16, so I'm going to type 3/16 and press enter. That gives us the second part of our rabbit. Now P for push pull, click, and then I'm going to pull this up, let go, and type in 0.25, and then enter. Spacebar deactivates push pull, and we basically have our lid completed. It's upside down though, and what we're going to do next is make this a component. Triple click selects all of this geometry. G brings up the component dialog box, and I'm going to type in lid. Let's type in bottom and lid and press OK. All right. The bottom and the lid are identical to each other, so all we have to do is move a copy of this into the correct location, and we've got this thing sitting 1/4 inch above the surface. So we want to grab this point, which we know is 1/4 inch, midpoint of this lid. Grab this point, start it on the blue direction. Before you do anything else, tap the control key, which will make a copy. All right, this is a lot, really, I know. The next thing you want to hit is the shift key. I'm on the blue axis, shift key locks it in place, and then I want to literally point to this corner, and you can see it's positioned correctly. If we click here and hide, you can see how that fits within the inside of the box. All right, so the next thing we need to do is we need to simply flip this lid by right-clicking it. We're going to flip along the blue direction. It's sitting up too high, so what we want to do now is with the move tool, we want to click this corner, start it in the right direction, and we simply want to point to this corner. Spacebar, click out here, deselects the lid, and we have our almost completed box. I'm going to end this here. It's a lot to cover. What I'd like for you to do is play this video back, email me, or leave a comment below if you have any questions about any of this, and we'll discuss it further, and we'll be sure to discuss this in our next SketchUp class.